So today we're going to be replacing a basic wall outlet here. Bought this on Amazon. First you'll need the replacement, then you'll need a voltage detector. That's how it works. Make sure you don't get electrocuted. Then a basic flathead screwdriver, basic Phillips screwdriver. I always like to have one of these box cutter guys here to help open this up, and then some nitrile gloves. So let's get started. So this is how this works. So you want to make sure you turn this on, and then if it gets close, that means it's live, it's hot. So you got to turn off the breakers. So in order to turn off the electrical current to what you're working on, you want to make sure you go to your main house breaker switches and find out which one we're turning off. This one's nicely labeled, so go ahead and turn that one off there. Okay, so now that we turned off the switch to the power, we're going to test it again. Okay, good, looks great. So first step is to take this center screw off. So it's very important that we turn off the power, because when you use this and touch this, this is all electrified over here. So then we switch to our Phillips here. Not necessarily to protect me from electrocution, but it's also kind of protects it from getting small cuts and keeps your hands clean. So take care to notice where everything is. Looks pretty good. Looks good there. Okay, so this is the ground. It's a little bit different, but it's the same place. So next step is you loosen this here. If you have a power drill, some people might say it would be faster, but the problem is that if you try to use a power drill and it spins too fast, you could strip these bolts here, these screws, and then it's going to be a real mess getting it off. You have to drill it and all sorts of stuff. So you see, this one's a little hard for this to catch, so that's why we can use this flathead here. Open up this notch. You got to push down a little bit. These are tight. Okay. So do we remember how it went? This was on the top. This is on the bottom. This is on the side here. So let's put that on the side. This is the ground. Loosen that a little bit. Careful of your fingers.
Your mom did. Take a finger with my friends.
Tighten that. It also kind of helps to pull this, so you want to make sure there's contact on the wires all the way to the bottom. All right. So do not turn the power on until this is all put away and screwed on, because any one of these things will shock you, and it's very, very dangerous. Okay. So how this came, this screw is on here with a little backing there. So it's kind of like a washer. So you want to put that in the back there, so this is over here. Okay. Okay, so kind of bend these a little bit kind of this way, so I can go inside. What you want to be careful of, and we don't have to worry about this because this is insulated with plastic, but if any one of these touch each other, then it can cause sparking and electrical shock. So push that all the way back. Hold this in position. Make sure it's relatively straight here. On the other hand, you can use your screwdriver of choice. And be careful doing this initial part here so you don't cross the threads inside. So what I like to do is not tighten all one side first, so that way we can maneuver it and make sure it's perfectly straight up and down. And then you can also make sure that these parts are equal here, because when you cover this, it's all messy over there. You cover that, and it completes it. Depending on how this is in the wall, sometimes you may not want to completely tighten it, just enough so it doesn't move. It all depends on how the house was built. Okay, a little bit more here. Last piece is to put the cap on. That's good. And this little finishing screw here. You don't want to make sure this, you don't want to make this too tight, because if you make this too tight, pressure will crack this whole thing. You have to buy a new one, even though we probably need to buy a new one anyway, because that's definitely much older than this brand new one. Okay, so that's it. We got to turn the power back on and test it now. Once with this, and then plug something in and make sure it works. Turn the breaker back on. And also, if any of these are turned off by accident, make sure they're all turned back on, and apologize if you turn someone's movie off or something. Let me turn the breaker back on. You can test it, make sure the line is hot. Okay, just like before. Okay, and then we can, so now just because there's electrical current doesn't necessarily mean that the actual outlet works. So got a handy lamp here, so I can plug that in and test that one. That's good. And that one's good too. So you also want to listen closely. If there's any crackling or anything like that, which would indicate something's not quite right, or something's touching, or, you know, that's could always be a potential for fire. So everything is nice and quiet, no humming either. So I think we did a great job. Also, the reason why we replaced this one here is somehow one of those ground plugs, those 3-prong ones, got stuck inside there. I don't know how that happened, but that's life. So yeah, pretty easy, and hope that helped.